Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Loan Officer Life, Hustle, Heart, and Home Ownership. And man, are we going to talk about, well, we're going to probably talk about all three, but when I think of hustle and heart, I think of you, Paige. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here today.
So you and I think we met for the first time at
Mhm.
not this past year, but the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been kind of tracking and following you since. And I got to tell you, I'm super inspired by what you're doing with your Notorious movement. Was loving the content coming from your Cabo, right? You guys were in Cabo.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was incredible. It was amazing. Um, and then what's super cool, and I'm not going to steal your thunder, but what's been really cool is the the folks that attended that event, watching the content that they're now putting out that I know came from that event. It's
Mhm.
really, really cool to see. Let's take it all the way back
All the way
and
back.
start with like how who's Paige and how did you get
Yeah.
into this business, and then we'll get into
Yeah.
what you've been up to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my name is Paige Hernandez. I'm a loan originator, like most of you probably listening. Grew up in this industry. My mom opened our company in '93, but didn't really spend a lot of my time on the consumer facing side. She gave me one of the best pieces of advice when I was in my 20s. And she said, if you really want to learn this business, go work for somebody else.
Mm,
She's like, I can only teach you so much. So go work for somebody else. And in particular, if you can go on the lender side, you'll learn like the back end side of like how loans function. And so this was like pre 2008. I used to work with a company called Impact. I think they're still around, but back then we were the number two, we called it Alt A back
yeah.
then, number two originator of Alt A business behind Countrywide. And I learned so much there. I learned how like loans worked and like we had loan committee where like I could go into loan committee and I thought like that I could be like the lawyer that I always really wanted to be, but never really went to school to do it. And so I could like, show you why you wanted to do my loan and balance the risk and all of that. And so I really learned how to put loans together and then loved that side of the business, but got married in my 30s, had some babies and stayed at home with them. And so I was very grateful I got to do that. But coming back into the workforce, knew I wanted to, jump back into the industry in some way. But I knew I didn't really want to be like work for somebody else.
Yeah.
That didn't sound really great for me anymore. And then also I wanted to be able to pick up my kids from school and be active in their life. And so it started really small. My mom would just, send me like these like streamlined refis to do. I remember I would like charge nothing to do them. It was like having an extra, a couple $1,000 a month into the household was like
Yeah.
a big deal back then. It was so huge for me. And then over time, I just, one foot in front of the other, built a business. And it led me to really focus on investor centric financing. So primarily debt service and fix and flip. Really love playing in that side of the business. It's very different. And I really designed my business around, I kind of like reverse engineer everything. For me, it was like, what do I want my life to look like? And I really like investor stuff because I don't have to calculate income. I can do pre-approvals in like 3 seconds because it's
Yeah.
really about FICO score and assets. And so I really liked that kind of a lifestyle as opposed to, competing in a business where everybody else competes and like they're just more challenging, more time consuming files. So spent my time there. And then, back in 2023, I was a woman in this industry feeling very isolated and very alone, post COVID.
Right.
Nobody really worked in an office as much anymore. And I would like watch a lot of these events that everybody was putting on. And I mean, I'm sure this is no surprise to anybody, but the field is a 50-50 split pretty much demographically, but what we see on stages and higher levels of executive status and in the rooms, quote unquote rooms, where like things happen and like deals get made and high level conversation and opportunities get passed, women just weren't represented.
Yeah.
Like,
I just had a call earlier and we talked about this exact thing and stale, male, and pale, right? That
yeah, 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 yeah. Yep. I mean, I love my middle-aged white men in this business, and they've done some amazing things for all of us and really like paved the way. But, a lot of times I feel like what's happening or what it feels like to me is like they walk through the door of opportunity and they're just not aware. They let it close behind them,
Yeah.
and I'm like, hello. And so every stage I saw, I'd be like, you're lucky if there's like a female on the lineup, right?
Right.
And then I would get upset with myself because, then in my brain, it's usually like the token female, and sometimes it's like the wife or the girlfriend. And then I have to do this thing in my head of like, oh, well, she's just the girlfriend. And I'm like, Paige, stop it. Then I'm discounting her. And I hate that experience for myself. So, I was just like, we got to get more women on stage. We got to get more women in these rooms because I, as a woman, am not being served in my highest and best capacity because I'll look at the stage and this is what goes through my mind. It's possibly the most brilliant content from the stage that would build my business and move it forward. I'm not even doubting the content, but what goes through your mind if you're a woman and you watch this, and maybe not every woman, but just me, maybe a lot of you will resonate, is I look at this and I think, well, that's really great for you. That's great for you because you don't have to pick up your kids at 3 o'clock and you're not waiting in the pickup line. Or that's really great for you, but you're not balancing the responsibilities that I have as a wife and a mother and all that kind of stuff. So you have a wife at home
Yeah.
that is doing that. So yeah, great for you. Great for you. I love that for you. But then I think, well, I can't do that because like we need representation. Like I need to be able to see a female model that works, not only see it, but I need a model that works for me. And
Yeah.
so the business model for like men often, and this is, a lot of times I like build on energetics. And so it's very masculine in energy. And
Yeah.
so a lot of that is just outwork the next guy. And I'm like, well, I don't want to just outwork the next guy. I want to use my feminine, qualities of attraction and like creativity and being able to balance that and build my business as a woman, but I don't have anybody to follow. And so that was part of the reason of launching Notorious. And then also, like I said, opportunities get passed through networks. And if we're not on, it's the reason why you see the same lineup, like
Yep.
across all the stage. Like
100%.
you guys know, you guys see the same lineups and they're great. They're awesome. But opportunities get passed through networks. And
Yes.
so as women, we're missing out on so much, the high level conversations, the opportunities, the stage time, and we just don't have that model. And so I was like yelling in 2023, like on social, what the heck is going on? And
Yeah.
somebody should throw an event. I was like, y'all, somebody throw an all female event. And like somebody, as in not me, because I don't have the skills or the resources or the capital to do this. Like I did. So I'm very transparent. You can know everything about my business. So I did like just shy of 19 million last year. No website, no CRM, just hanging out on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that that's not a good business model. So don't follow me. But I didn't know how to build a website. Like I was like, one of you big companies, like you guys should build it. You guys should do this event because you have departments and you got employees and you could like figure this out. And you more importantly have money. So like you guys do it.
Right.
And then like nobody would do it.
Yeah.
And so I had read this book by Elizabeth Gilbert. Do you know who she is?
No.
So she's the Eat, Pray, Love
Oh,
girl.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
wrote that book and then made a movie and was made into a movie. So she has this book called Big Magic. And in Big Magic, she talks about like divine ideas and how divine ideas are coming to fruition, whether you do something with it or not. Like they're coming. This happens. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, this happened to me." Like you have this idea, but you don't move on it, and then later on down the line, somebody did, and you see
Yeah.
it. This just happened to me for like ever. I've been like, somebody should make this app. It's kind of like Yelp, but for restaurants only, and it has the menu, and then it has pictures, and then you have what people say about the meal. Because when
Yeah.
I go to a new place to eat, I'm always like, I don't know what to eat. And then I'm looking around at the people around me, like, what did they get? And then I also want to ask them, like, how did you like it?
Yeah.
Like, because that way I know how to navigate the menu. And so I've been saying this for like ever. And somebody finally just launched this thing. A friend of mine sent it to me on TikTok. And I was like, see, $1 million idea right there. Somebody moved.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't move on it. But yay for that guy. I hope he makes $1 million. So I had read this book and I was like, okay, Paige, like I was like, this feels like this needs to happen.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing it. I don't feel like it's my responsibility, but I also know if you get a divine idea, you better move on it because somebody else will. And a belief system of mine is like, if it's really a divine idea, you will be provided with everything you need. You just got to get out of your way and take the steps. So I was like, all right. Like my naivete was like, let's do it. So we launched this event or I launched this event and we ended up doing 50 women in Austin for 3 days.
Say
Incredible.
it again. How many? 50,
Yeah,
50.
50, yeah, in
Yeah,
Austin
a
for 3
small
days.
event.
Yeah, it was no, it's not. It was like over 6 figures. I didn't know it was gonna be over 6 figures. I probably wouldn't have done it had I known how much it was gonna cost or like
Yeah.
what it was gonna take to do it. But like ignorance on fire. So we did this event. It was, transformative for so many of the women. And so they were like, what are we doing next? And I
Mm,
was like, girl, I don't know. Like, I didn't know there was going to be a next. Like,
right.
there was no business model here. It's not like I was launching an event to back sell them on something. It was just like, we needed an all female event for like 2.5 days, because some of the challenges with the female offerings in our industry is they're like 6 hours and I don't know how this is inoffensive, but they ride off the coattails of men. They're like side stages at big events. They don't really have, and it doesn't really lend itself to building relationships with one another. Like 6 hours, and most of it being in session is not relationship building. And for me, like relationships, that's what transformed my business. From 1 year to the next, I went out to an event. I stayed with a girl that was that was going to the event. I'd never met her before. Coming out of that event, she put me and another lady in mortgage in a group chat. And that right there changed my whole business. My
Yeah.
income doubled year over year because I had support now and I had other women going through what I was going through. I didn't feel alone. I felt
Yeah.
I felt seen, I felt supported. And so there was like things like that. I was like, I want to be able to provide this for women. So I was like, all right, guys, you guys want to do something next. All right, what are we going to do? So I had this Facebook group that I was like, all right, let's open the Facebook group. We'll open it for everybody, like anybody that's female identifying, I guess. Y'all can come on in and we're going to host summits in here and we'll figure out a way to build community, because I think community, especially for women, is like we really thrive there. So let's build a community, see what happens. Maybe we'll do another fall event. So we start building this community. Now the community is like 720, just all
Oh, wow.
organically built. Yeah. It's like working. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning of the year, well, towards the end of the year after that event, everybody was like, let's do a trip. And I was like, oh, I love that. I love to travel. I love to travel for business because it's a write off. So I really
Mhm.
like that. But then I was like, I just don't want to go on a trip. I love you guys. I
Yeah.
love you guys, but I just want to go on a trip. Let's make more money doing this thing. Like, that's also, I try to like shift some of these ideas around women in business. And a lot of times, like, the money thing, like, we're not supposed to really be like proud or braggy. It's like, oh, you're bragging and like you can't celebrate yourself. So I try to
Yeah.
shift some of that stuff. And so it's okay to make money. Like, that's why we're in
That's why we're
business.
here. Yeah.
That is what we are doing here. And
Right.
so how do I make more of it with like my whole thing is like I want to make more money with like less effort. Like, show me that business plan. A lot of times when I go to stuff and they tell like, I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I want to make a lot of money with the least amount of effort. Like, that is my business plan.
To me,
So
that's like what I call real scale. Like
yeah,
anybody can do more. You can do more volume by doing more work.
yeah,
That's the whole grind mentality. We're going to come
yeah,
back to that, by the way.
yeah,
Um, when you can figure out how to do more volume, make more money, and have a steady state and have like real balance, that's scale. That's when
yeah,
you've scaled yourself and your business.
yeah. I love that. There's like always the talk over, and I talk about this too, like units and volume. And from an originator standpoint, I'm like, I want mass volume. I want the least amount of units and the biggest volume because I get paid off volume. I don't get paid
Right.
off units. I don't care about units. But if you're a company owner, I'm always like, why are we clapping? why are we clapping for for the person that does the most units? Like, no, bro, I don't want that business model.
Yeah.
It's not what I'm celebrating over here because I don't want that lifestyle. But from a company standpoint, yeah, because the company makes more money if you do more units because they get paid on a per unit basis. So of course they're going to sell you this model of work as hard as you can because that's how they get paid. So I'm always like, I'm not falling for that trick. But to each their own,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
their own on that business model. Yeah, so everybody's like, let's take a trip. And I'm like, okay, how are we gonna make more money doing this? And I was like, oh, you know, it'd be fun. Like, let's go to somewhere really cool and let's film. We'll be a YouTube show. We'll like launch a YouTube show and launch a podcast. And it sound even like right now when I talk about it, it does sound a little outrageous. I mean, everything is outrageous when I'm like, I don't even know why I think I can do this stuff, but I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do a YouTube show. So I
I
fly down.
actually, I don't think it's outrageous at all. No, I've been fascinated just to watch the ride that
Uh-huh.
you've been on. I've said to myself and others, I'm like, this is the kind of stuff that people need to see. It needs to be a show of is,
Yeah.
something that people can actually watch and learn from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm so grateful for it. Sometimes I'm just like thinking to myself, like, what makes me think I can do this? 'Cause sometimes it feels very like outside. I don't have the resources for it. And so it's also that was like a really big lesson in 2024 in building Notorious was when you are put yourself so far outside your comfort zone, you have no choice but to really like lean on whatever your higher power is. It could be
Yeah.
like your like intuition, even if you want to go down to intuition, if you're not like a God believer, force energy, intuition, higher self, whatever you want to call that. I've become very proficient in my life. And so I didn't really necessarily need to lean on anything but myself. I could do all the heavy lifting. And then I put myself in a place where I was like, Paige, you don't have the money to do this. Like, what are you thinking? And then I was like, all right, well, we're going to practice. We get a chance to, practice these beliefs that for somehow you think that this works. And like, all right, this is the chance to practice it. And like, lo and freaking behold, it actually works. And I was like, okay. So it was an awesome experience to be able to be put back in that position of all the things from a mindset side that I really know create success that sometimes we get out of that practice
Yeah.
because we become very comfortable and very proficient at what we do and we're just not stretching. And so yeah, it
Do
was
you
a big
think,
stretch.
sorry, do you think
Yeah.
that I'm curious of it's one thing to do something when it's just you and the stakes might be high, but they're not like they're only going to impact you if it doesn't work. How much of the fact that what you were planning and building for was going to impact, these other women, right? That created that accountability and took it to another level for you. And then how much did that drive you to make it work?
Okay, there's 2 things in there. What, really drove me to make it work was the fact that, I was personally vested, like money. It's
Yeah.
on my
Yeah.
credit card. Like,
Yep.
it's a little bit different with, like, other things that are out there, you know, and sometimes why when I'm like, "Well, why is what we're doing a little bit different?" And I'm like, "Oh, because I have no choice but to wake up every day and do this because it's on my personal
Right.
credit card." Yes, we got sponsors and thank you guys for like coming in to support us. But at the end of the day, if I don't get the sponsorships or I don't sell the tickets, like that's
Yeah.
my credit card.
Right.
It's
Right.
not like I'm walking into an already established budget that I get to use. So there's that. The part about the do with other people, this is the thing that like we rarely get to see in life the impact that we're making. Like it's just our feedback we get is so little. And so
Yeah.
it's also what I try to tell people. It's like a lot of times we're looking for initial feedback to even like justify what we're doing, and building. And it's like, no, your feedback you get is like the smallest fraction. So if you get any good feedback, just know your impact is a lot bigger. But for me, like I have just fallen in love with doing the event and hope like doing we've done a couple other, projects now. but real time getting to see the impact that it makes in somebody else's life.
Yeah.
And like that part, you like, there's no dollar figure you can put on like having that personal experience of knowing that you're doing something that is honestly like having a shift in somebody else or
Right.
contributing in such a positive way in somebody else's life. We just don't get that feedback rarely ever. And that's probably why we fall in love with the business, right? When
Yeah.
like you help somebody become a brand new homeowner and you know what that does, like that shifts an entire family's lineage. If they're like first generation
Yeah.
homeowners, like you have shifted the entire family line.
That's
And
right.
so maybe that's, you get to see that and like that becomes like so addicting. Yeah, so I love all of that. Yeah, so yeah, I was like, let's film this YouTube show. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And so we fly down a film crew. Incredible. Like I had worked with the filmmaker we worked with on this project. I'd worked with him like, I don't know, 8 years ago on a project that was a complete like disaster. We were on different sides of this project, but the owners like ran off with like, I don't know, $300,000 and like just screwed everybody. But I was like, one day, Michael, one day I'm going to have a project for you. Like, I'm going to keep you in my sphere because I don't know what it is, but one day we're going to work together. And it was really cool to like have this like full circle moment with him of like,
Sure.
how you don't know, like when you meet people or you do things and sure, so you do some stuff and it fails, and it's tough in those moments to see that it's not really failure, it's just redirection. And like you don't really know how everything's going to play out in the moment. And so you have to keep that vision that like everything's happening in your favor. It don't always feel good, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like that higher belief system that, yeah, everything is happening in my favor. This is all playing out for my highest good, even when it doesn't feel good. I mean, to be honest with you, I always sometimes think like, well, our belief systems are choices, really, at the end of the day. And like, you can choose a belief system, you can choose one that functions for you or one that doesn't function for you. And so
Sure.
I might as well believe everything's happening in my favor
Yeah.
than not, because then, you have the opportunity for it to do that. But yeah, we fly down to Cabo. We go to the Viceroy, which is such a full circle moment for myself as well, because I sat there 2 years prior. I'd never stayed at this hotel, but the Viceroy, it used to be called El Mar Adentro, which means next to the ocean, or next to the sea, or next to the beach, El Mar, something, regardless. But it's like this architectural, like super, like it's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. It reminds me of the movie Inception. It uses a
Mm.
lot of negative space. There's no lawn in between the buildings, it's all water. And
I
so
saw
it's just
I
like,
saw that in some of the video.
this is so incredible. And so I usually stay a couple of resorts over at Cabo Azul. And if I'm there, sometimes I'll walk over and have dinner on like this rooftop and watch the sun go down. And I went a couple of years ago with some girlfriends of mine, and it was just as my mortgage business really felt like it was really starting to go. And I was like, "It's working." And so I went down. We had like this like celebratory dinner as the sun was going down at the what was now, it's now the Viceroy. And I just remember like, I don't know what's coming, but
Huh.
something big is coming. And so I got the expensive bottle of champagne. And then to bring women back here, we brought, I want to say like 17 women, 15, 17, something like that. We cut out 12 episodes. And I thought we were doing it. The intention was, let's go down there. We'll film the show and like, I don't know, it's kind of self-fulfilling. You come back. I don't know if anybody listens to these podcasts outside of like us, right?
My mom.
So my mom. It just feels very self-fulfilling. Like we
Yeah.
create this thing and your face gets on a flyer and then we're gonna promote it like it's a real podcast.
Yeah. Right.
But it's just like this little thing we created, but we're gonna go through all the steps and it'll seem real and it'll look real, but I don't know if it's really real. But y'all can use it online to cut yourself out as an expert. So I know for
Yes.
my business, like it becoming an expert online, because that's where all my business was coming from, putting my face on flyers, doing podcasts like this, even if nobody listens to them, is just like build you out as an expert. And that's how you
Yeah.
get like. And so I was like, all right, girls, if it does anything, you can just leverage the expertise to help you make more money. But we're down there and we start cutting these episodes. And I'm like, holy shit, this is actually really good. Like the lessons in there, like what are your biggest limiting beliefs about like yourself and your business? How do you get over them? What's your biggest insecurity? Like, these life lessons. Tell me about your worst file you ever had. A little bit of that. And they were really good. And so we came back. We just launched the series in the beginning of July. And then we just launched a magazine. And the magazine looks incredible as well. And then we just opened our cart for our big event in the fall. And we're going big this year. Like we're pulling out all the stops. I'm very excited about it.
So couple things we're going to put in the chat or in the notes to the show, links to your YouTube series. That'll be awesome. As well as information on the upcoming event. But we got a few minutes left. Let's talk about what's next. And we didn't even get to a lot of the questions that I want to come back and ask the next time you come on about your business. Because here's my thesis in again, watching what you've been doing in our 25 minutes we've been talking so far. I'm betting that your business, your mortgage business, your mortgage practice is infinitely better today than it was before you went to Cabo.
I hope
Fair?
so. Yeah.
I sense, I can tell and feel like your level of competence and proficiency is at a different level today than the first time you and I met a year plus ago.
Yeah. So, well, a rising tide floats all boats, right? So you can't have one area of your life, be elevating, but you're not elevating in the other because it's really you that's elevating, right? And so, there's so much we can talk about that. I have a whole, like, all the work I do really in my business is like being able to shed my own, like, held on energy and trauma. And if I can just get out of my own way and like, that's the work that I do. Actually, I don't know who's going to listen to this, but I work with shamans throughout the year doing plant medicine. And like, I know that's a wacky way to do it. You can do whatever way you want to do it. But for me, I process a lot of negative energy through that experience. That way, when like I get a limiting belief because I'm out of my comfort zone, I don't buy into it and I can easily shift it. And like, once you get stuck in it, like that's the real work we do. It's not the action. The action's simple. It's like what goes on in our heads and in our hearts. Like that's the hard work. And so that is really where I spend my time, I think, trying to develop myself so I don't get spun out so much. But we can come back and talk about business.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. That's another episode altogether. So let's talk about what's coming in the fall. So
September. Yeah, so September 14th through the 17th, we're going back to Austin. This is definitely an event that's created with the female originator in mind. Like the hotel, I wouldn't host it like just like a Marriott that's like cold and stale. Not doing that. So it's like, oh, it's so beautiful. It's just even like down to the details, like the curtains are like these flowy, like romantic curtains, and like the bed is super plush. The hotel is incredible. It's this cute little boutique hotel. But we kick off the event with like a pool party. So you come in, you get checked in. We're going to do a little nostalgia this week. They're the 3 days that we're there. We're going to do Troop Beverly Hills vibes. So I know you're probably like nothing for you, but that was like an iconic movie for me growing up. So we're going to do Troop Beverly Hills vibes. You get checked in, you come hang out by the pool, get a chance to meet with people. We'll do like a VIP meet and greet with our VIP attendees and our sponsors and our speakers. Then we'll do a welcome reception by the pool. It's fun. It's like we bring in this cute little girl and she sings music with her guitar, and we get a chance to really establish those relationships, see our old friends, meet our new friends. And then Monday and Tuesday work very similar. We do a slow morning because I don't know about you guys, but like I hate traveling. And then the event starts at like 9 a.m. If I'm on the East Coast, that's like 6 a.m. I'm getting up at like 4 a.m. I'm like, what in the world is this? So I designed this as like a female. I want to have a nice, slow morning and ease into my day.
I love that concept of a slow morning.
Yeah,
It's
like doing things that feel good for my body and my mind. And so there's yoga out on the lawn for women that want to go do yoga. You can grab and go breakfast, grab a coffee. If you want to go back to your room and eat, that's fine. We had set up uh tables and chairs so you can have breakfast with one another. I think sometimes the challenge with other events is like there's just not enough time. You
yeah,
can't build relationship in 6 hours where
right.
you only like having an hour at lunch with somebody. You need time to do that. And so we do session from 10 to 12. We take an extended lunch so you can go work if you want, hang out by the pool, get to further relationships. We come back 2 to 5. And then each night we do an incredible party. So on Monday, we're going to do a pajama jam. We're doing a pajama jam. We are going to host a pageant. It's our first year doing this one, where the women that are going to the event, they can submit their story. We'll narrow them down to like, I don't know, 3 to 5 stories that will be shared at dinner. And then we're going to crown a winner. Everybody's going to vote. We're going to crown a winner. I know. Uh-huh. And then the second night, we're in negotiation. So cross our fingers that everything works. I'm kind of like, I don't care what it costs. Let's do it. But our plan is to do bingo loco. Do you know
Bingo loco.
loco? Yeah. If you don't know what bingo loco is, it is such a wild experience. Like you play bingo, but think of bingo with like an MC and a DJ, and there's like a dance off and confetti cannons and like
Right on.
it is so much fun. So that is the plan. We have, I think, also one of the things about the event is really the content that we curate. This is not a lineup that you're going to see anywhere else. Like I shared with you, it's like I'm just kind of overseeing the same lineup after the same lineup after the same lineup. And so I really kind of scour the industry to find out who are those hidden gems that are doing incredible things that really we need to share the wealth and get more people up on stage. So we have like Karina Carter, Kristen O'Neill, Rebecca Richardson, Ashlyn Ender, Brandy Brickler. Like these are all, women that are doing incredible things. Like Kristen hits Scotsman's guy like every year.
Right.
And like I'm like, girl, you need to be on stage sharing with like what is creating that? Because she does that like as a solo originator, not a team. And
Yeah.
so I'm always like, girl, like tell me all the details. And so what's also really cool is like there's no gatekeeping. And like if you see something on stage, you can actually go up to, the speaker and be like, can you show me on your phone? Like show
Yeah.
me how you do that. Because a lot of times we get content, we go back to our, marketplace, and then we're like, and now what?
Yeah.
Like if you don't implement anything, it's worthless. Like you got the relationship hopefully, but we really have to implement. So it's designed to like really move your business forward in
Yeah.
so many different aspects instead of just doing an event to do an event.
I love
Yeah.
I
Go to
can't wait. I can't wait to see the kind of watch it in live, in real time, and then again get to see, you
recap
know,
video.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you guys can go across like all socials, Notorious WMN, or you can go to the website, notoriouswmn.com, and check out the event. But yeah, the YouTube show, all that kind of stuff.
All the links are going to be in the show notes, guys. So if you're watching here, click down wherever you click, and you'll get to the show notes. You'll get all the links to everything Notorious, all of Paige, all of your socials. We'll have everything on here. And then for last thing we'll talk about, for any interested sponsors, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Just hit me up directly. Like you can find me across all socials. Yeah, just send me a DM. You could also send me an email or a text. I don't really answer my phone. So, I mean, we'll talk about a whole business thing around not answering your phone. That is like my business model. A lot of people can do it.
I already got an idea. I'm going to have you and Todd Bitter get on a show
Uh-huh.
with me.
I love it. I know. I love Todd. I
Yeah,
have 100 and I'll tell you how many voice notes I have. How many do I have? 195 voicemails.
right
All
on.
different business model.
Hey, it's working for you.
Yeah.
Paige, I appreciate you coming on and sharing what you're doing. I'm, like I said, super inspired by what you've built, what you're continuing to build, and can't wait to see what you guys do in September.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It like means so much when we have, you know, men and women, but even like men really appreciate what we're doing. Like you guys are our allies, and having support all around is very, very, very helpful. So thank you so much for having me and helping me spread the mission with everybody else out there in the loan officer life.
You got it. Right on. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in this week. Come back next Friday for our next episode. And once again, Paige, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.